Hello, and welcome back to the Unpacked Traveler Podcast, where we unpack the wonders and challenges of long term travel so you can feel empowered to enjoy this lifestyle in your most confident way. Hello, welcome back. I'm so excited to be talking about solo travel right now because I feel like not many people understand what it really is and understand what it takes and all the beauties and the challenges behind it. And I'm all in for that. You guys know I'm all in for the real talk, the real shit, the real stuff about traveling and all aspects of it. So today I'm going to cover all things about solo traveling. My fun stories, my scary stories, the good parts, the tips, so you don't have to commit the same mistakes that I did when I began solo traveling. I just began solo traveling, I think randomly. It was not like a goal that I had in my mind was like when I was a teenager, like, oh, when I grow up, I want to become a solo traveler. No, it happened because I just didn't want to depend on anybody to begin traveling. And so I did when I was an au pair in Texas. I saw all the states of the United States around me. And I was like, fuck, I need to go see them. And I remember it was hard to like match the dates with my friends. And I honestly didn't even have that many friends back then because I had just arrived in a new country. I had like a group of Brazilians on WhatsApp, but not necessarily like friends, you know? It took a while until I made real friends. So it was kind of like tricky because I found out that if I didn't want to travel by myself, I had to just travel with a random new person that I just like agreed on the dates in the group. So here's how it happened. Within the Brazilians group, we could like send to them like, oh, I feel like going to New York and these dates. Anybody up to going with me? And then a random person would say yes or no. And these were all au pairs, by the way. So most people did that and they made really nice friendships like that. I, on the contrary, I think I was a little bit insecure and nervous to just go on a trip with somebody that's totally new. What if the person has nothing to do with me? What if the person doesn't like the same stuff that I do? I don't know. It felt really, really like just weird personally. Not judging anybody who did. I think it's really, really nice actually for those who done it. So my story went a different way. I just decided to traveling by myself. And I think I was like a bit of a crazy teenager, honestly. I don't think that. I'm sure of that. And I know that I was a little bit reckless too. I didn't have that much fear about stuff, like compared to today, you know? I feel like to today, I'm much more responsible, much more afraid of stuff, honestly. And back then, I don't remember having any fear of my mind of just going to New York by myself. That was it. I was like, fuck yeah, first solo travel, let's go to New York. I've always wanted to get to know this place. And I did. The rest of this story, though, I'm going to save it for the end of the podcast because, one, I don't want to scare you. And second, I really want you guys to stick through the fun stuff so you can listen to the final of the story. Sorry. But yeah, I think you're not going to regret listening to the podcast. Yeah, so basically that's the intro. I want to give you all the information that I put together during these years of solo traveling by myself. You know what I mean. So let's get into it. So here's why I love solo traveling. First, you get to choose everything. Like without having any conversations about it. You can change your mind as many times as you want or as many times as I want because I'm a Gemini. I change my mind all the time and I actually love it. I just understand that sometimes it's annoying for people, but I actually love just embracing it when I'm solo traveling, you know? And through that, like, you know, getting to choose everything that you want, you actually start to understand yourself better, understand what you love, understand what your real desires are when there is nobody else around to like judge you even. So you can choose any food that you want. You can go to any place that you want. It's really, really like a free experience, you know? The second great thing about solo traveling is that you actually get to meet a lot of new people. So basically, it's much more easy for people to approach you and start a conversation if you're alone rather than if you're with your friends or with your partner. Especially if you're in a hostel or in a restaurant and you look open in a way. There are ways to shut down others. I'll tell you about it later because I'm a pro in it. But it's really nice actually when you're solo traveling, and we actually feel a little bit lonely sometimes. Like we see all these couples and all these friend groups traveling together. At least I do. I think loneliness is common feeling among solo travelers and among travelers in general. So you feel a little bit of that, but I think what cures it is just when you meet new people, and I really, really love that aspect of solo traveling. And a huge part on that too is that because you get to know so many people, because you're choosing stuff all the time, you get to know yourself so much better. I think honestly, I only started to find out who I really was in life when I began traveling. Not only because I was alone and I was within my own thoughts, my own company. You kind of like have to start enjoying your company and liking yourself. And you actually do. You get to know yourself better because throughout like every person that we meet, we kind of see a reflection of ourselves. I don't know if you ever heard that or if that makes sense to you, but if I meet somebody new and something about the personality of this person just shines for me, it means that I have something in me that made me see that in them, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, I always travel and get to know new people, but that after like these fast connections happen, I always think about like, why did I like the person, or why did I think they were rude, or why, and why did I feel about this person like that? And also, it's funny because that way you start to realize there's some type of people that you get along with and some type of people that you don't. Because when you get out of your bubble and start traveling, you get to know so many different people. And you start understanding like, oh, I get along with this type of person. Like with this type of person, I can talk everything about like the death of my dog, the death of my grandma. I'm crying my eyes out. Like I feel comfortable with this type of person. But with this one, I feel afraid. That brings me triggers. That takes me back to childhood. And it's interesting when you analyze that. Can you actually start to understand yourself better? How you relate to people, how you open up, how long it takes for you to open up. I've learned so much about myself in this aspect and have learned so much to accept these parts of myself as well with traveling. And I know I got into a whole like deep talk right now, but I really like deep conversations. So if you're ready for that, just let me know. If you like that, let me know. Another great aspect about solo traveling, again, deep topic, is that we actually get to follow our intuition more. So again, we're spending a lot of time by ourselves. We're spending a lot of time by ourselves, making our choices, deciding stuff. And we start to realize there are like types of voices in our head. And don't tell me I'm the only one because I know I'm not. We know there is like the angry part, the childish part, the mature part. And there's one voice that's really, really gentle, subtle, and even quiet sometimes, which is our intuition. When we travel, we actually get to know these voices better and our intuition better. And it's really much easier to understand and trust our intuition when we're solo traveling because we don't have anybody else to counter reason it, to go against it, or to try to prove that's not right. And sometimes our intuition is not something crazy. It's not something about like, it's going to save us from an accident. It can be that as well, but it's so sweet. It's just a part of ourselves that knows ourselves better than ourselves. And it will take us to places that makes us feel good, or maybe doesn't so much, but teaches us something about ourselves. And in general, it's just much easier to listen to it. I'm not saying everything is perfect. I've traveled a lot. I still can't hear it 100% of the time. Nobody can, I think. At least if you do, just please let me know how. But it does make it easier. Other great aspect of solo traveling is that we actually get to treat ourselves to what we love. There's nobody else in the world that knows what we like better than ourselves. And my favorite thing, honestly, when I travel is to treat myself to nice dinners out. I love going out to have nice food, like literally. I might have something in Taurus because I really, really, really love eating good food, having a nice glass of wine, having dessert afterwards. I don't know, it just feels so good. And I know that when I travel, I always I take me out on a date. And it's really, really nice to just sit down, do that thing that I love with my own company that sometimes I love, and just think about how much I've conquered. Like, I'm living my dream right now. I'm taking myself out in a dinner, let's say in France. I've done that in France. I cried during the dinner because for me, it was just a symbol of accomplishment and a symbol of reflection too. It's a moment that I can reflect about my life, about the steps that I've taken to get this far. And you know the difference, like I look at my 12-year-old self in those moments and I tell her, like, look at that. You're in France having like a French wine, having, a nice meat or whatever I'm eating, a nice pie and dessert. And it's a bit expensive, but you can pay for it. And how amazing is that? Like in these moments, I feel proud of myself. And I know this is my symbol of acknowledgement and success, but it's amazing to find out what's yours and do that for you, Take yourself on a massage, or I love that, by the way, as well. Just treat yourself to nice things because you deserve it, and if you don't do it for yourself, how can you expect others to do it as well? And to finish up, the best things about solo traveling is that after a trip where you were solo traveling, of course, you faced challenges and you faced insecurities and you had to face your fears to achieve that. You feel so much more confident afterwards. Like you feel like you could do anything. You feel so powerful. You're like, I was afraid of this, but I wanted this so much. I've done it, and now I can do anything. It's just such an empowerment. Yeah, an empowerment. It's amazing. You should do it. Honestly, it's a 10 out of 10 experience for me. Of course, there are downturns, and I'm going to talk about them as well right now, and all the tips to maybe avoid it. But it's so much worth it. I understand that we get afraid. I understand we have so many insecurities. Everybody, I don't think the society is yet ready for powerful female women that solo travel. They don't trust us. They don't trust our powerful us. So let them not trust, but let's do it anyway. Or like, fuck them. No, let's not let them do it. Whatever. Just do it. Just do it. You won't regret. And I'm here for you. This podcast is also for us to build a community and talk about it and help each other. So if you have any fears, if you have any questions, if you have any insecurities, just please let me know. I'm going to open a Q&A after this episode on my Instagram, so you can ask me questions about solo traveling that I haven't answered in this podcast, or that I have and you just want me to repeat. I don't care. Just ask your questions there and let's talk about it. Oh my God, my phone storage is full. Damn it. Anyway, sorry. Just let's communicate and let's help each other in achieving that. Yeah, so now let's talk about all the challenges that can happen and how to protect ourselves from it in the best of our capabilities. I separated like a bunch of tips that I give my friends when they solo travel for the first time. They're mostly like reasonable ones. There are ones that you can just choose not to do as well. They're just my stuff. Like I do that when I solo travel. Nothing has ever happened to me, or almost did, but like it didn't. But these are the things that I really, really trust and that I really do. So my first tip is never tell strangers that you're solo traveling. Like I'd never do that. Whenever like I make friends, they ask me, I just tell them, yeah, I'm with my friends here, but we took a night together, or a night separately, I mean. Or sometimes if I really, really I don't trust that person, I just tell them, no, I'm waiting for somebody. I'm waiting for my friend. I'm waiting for whoever. Depends on the situation, of course. It depends on the person. It depends. Sorry, but if you're a woman asking me, it's different. The answer is probably gonna be different as well. But yeah, that's like another tip. Do you know that intuition I was talking about? Just use it. Use it to decide who you can trust and who you cannot trust when you travel. Just be safe. Don't open up too much to people too fast. Another tip that I'm gonna give you. Sometimes I did not follow this tip, but again, I've done the mistake, so you don't have to. Which is, don't go out drinking when you're solo traveling. I mean, if you are having like a glass of wine in a nice dinner, or like, like a beer with some friends, it's okay. But I'm telling you, don't get drunk. I think that's the actual tip here. Don't get drunk when you're solo traveling, especially if you haven't made any friends that you can trust yet. I've done that when I was traveling to Italy. I went to Rome and I took myself in a nice dinner, as I've told you that I liked. So yeah, I just saw the menu and I saw the prices for the wine. And I saw that if I ordered a bottle, it was cheaper than ordering 2 glasses or 3 glasses or whatever. I don't remember now. It made sense in that moment that I ordered a whole bottle for myself. Ow. And so I did. I ordered food and a glass of wine. But in my naive mind, I thought that I could drink a little bit of it and take the rest home. But of course, I could not do that. So me and my, how do you say that? Small pockets. I didn't want to fucking spend my money in a bottle that I would not drink it full. So I was like, I have to finish this bottle now. That's what I have to do. So I did. I finished the whole bottle by myself. And by the end of it, of course, I was drunk. Very drunk and very much alone and very much far from home or far from the hotel that I was staying. So I saw that there were no public transportation. I saw that the Uber was quite expensive. And I saw that by walking, it was a 40-minute walk. And I decided to walk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm drunk. The city's going to be beautiful. Who cares? I'm in Rome. I'm in Italy. Just let's go. And that 40-minute walk, guys, just turned into a whole night of drinking by myself because I saw bars open and I'm like, I can have another one. That's me drunk, by the way. I can never stop. It's terrible. So I got into some pubs. I made friends. I drank for free. The bartender liked me. Oh my God, guys, I could not stop drinking. Started having shots. It was like a really, really, really wild night. I'm not telling you it was bad. It was good. Nothing happened, okay? Nothing bad happened. But how many bad stuff could have happened in my list, in my brain list, is like, fuck, how could I? I don't think I can do that anymore. I was younger and more naive than I am right now. More naive, I don't know. I'm saying, like, it's nice to go out drinking, but if you want to go out drinking, just maybe like invite a friend. Like, don't do it by yourself, especially in like big cities, small cities too. Just don't do it. Anyway, I can't remember the walk back home. I know that I've got home. I had a pepper spray with me, which I think it was what gave me super confidence. I have a video on my phone that I pepper sprayed myself and I lost it. So no, don't go out drinking. Don't go out drinking, guys. I know the story is fun, but like, I felt like the message was not clear enough. Don't fucking do that, okay? Anyway, let's go to the next tip, which is a huge one. Take always a power bank with you. Make sure you have extra battery on your phone. Nowadays, our phones is our everything when we travel. Is our maps. We know or like how to get to the hotel. We can translate stuff. I feel like my credit card, my cards are in my phone. If I lose it, I really lose it. And if it's dead, it's really dead. I'm dead. I can't walk back home, which is bad. I know, but it's like 2024. That's normal. So this is my tip. Always make sure you have extra battery so you can get home safe. And another tip regarding that is just make sure that you know your hostel name or your hotel name. Because in case you get stolen, you lose your bag, something happens, at least you can get home, you know? You know how to get home. And another tip not many people talk about is make sure you bring like something to do when you are having meals by yourself. Because in the beginning, it may feel awkward to go out and eat by yourself and do stuff by yourself. I mean, actually, this is normal, okay? The feeling of awkwardness in the beginning. Just go past it. Nobody cares that you're doing stuff on yourself. And it's not because you're lonely, nobody likes you. It's because you're a powerful person, a powerful woman, and you can do it by yourself. And you don't need anybody else to do it. You're self-sufficient. That's what you should have in your mind, not the opposite. Anyways, when you are like having your meal, just make sure you bring something so you're not bored. So what I like to take is like a book or a Kindle. Even if I don't read it, it's there for my like emotional support. You can take like a drawing notebook if you do like drawing. You can take like a journaling notebook so you can talk about and write about actually your feelings and how you're feeling. Honestly, that's a super huge great stuff that I do is when I go out to have dinners or whatever. I always take something to write because these are the moments that usually like feelings come up and I want to talk to somebody or I want to write my feelings and I do that and it's super, super nice. Another tip is try to stay in hostels instead of hotels. In small ones, preferably. Here's why. When you go to hostels, it's so much easier to get to know people. And, you know, nice people that you can make friends with. People who can make you company when you want to go to a museum or, you know, do touristy stuff. Or who could go out with you to have a dinner or lunch or whatever. Grab a bite. Especially small ones because the bigger the hostel, I feel like people have more space to be spread out and not want to talk with others. You know, that's from like personal experience. I've stayed like the smaller the hostel, the more like you kind of feel close to people, you know, and that's the goal, honestly, when you want to get to know somebody. You don't want to be all awkward and like walking 5 feet and like, hey, what's your name? You know, you want to be around the person already and like, oh, hi, what's your name? You know, it just makes things easier. And, you know, I think to wrap it up, try to make friends, chill out, get to know yourself and have fun, you know. I know it's scary. I know the word's dangerous sometimes. And there are countless success stories out there for you to trust that you're okay. You're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You know, you can trust yourself and manifest even a good trip, you know. I feel like sometimes when I'm in a negative spirit or like mood, it's just easier for things to go wrong as well. I accept that. I understand that there are moments that there's no way to fucking be positive. We're in like a bad mood or something. But usually I've seen that we manifest the reality that's in our mind, in the world around us. So try to keep it positive, you know, even if you're having a bad day, just try to keep it positive, that everything's going to work out. And I believe everything's going to work out. And if it doesn't, that's a huge tip too. If it doesn't, just handle it. Don't be afraid of the stuff going wrong. You know, don't be afraid of like losing your flight. If you do, you got another one. That's the worst that can happen and you can fix it. You know, like if you lose your bag, okay, I'll lose my bag. Let's solve it. I know this is a bad one, of course. But like anything bad that can happen, there is a solution to it. You can trust that. You can trust yourself that you're bold and knowledgeable enough that you can handle stuff, you know? So even if we are afraid, the fear is there to protect us. Just tell this fear, dude, I got this. Just chill out, okay? And I'm going to tell you the worst can happen, okay? I'm going to tell you the story of New York. So it's time. No, I'm kidding. It's not that big, but it's a bit big. Yeah. So I was in New York. Really, really naive. If I was naive in the Italy story time, In the New York one, I was like newborn naive. I was first night in New York, first night solo traveling. I decided to go to a club. With whom? I honestly don't think I knew anybody. No, there was no way I knew anybody. Because I can't remember like any familiar faces, but I remember I was waiting for somebody in the front of the nightclub. So I believe I made some sort of connection to see somebody there. It was one of those New York nightclubs where you have to put your heels, you gotta be cute, otherwise they won't let you in. Which nowadays I hate. I hate this type of place. Like, they're just so judgmental. They really try to like patronize and objectify women. But back then I was a very young teenager and I didn't know stuff. I don't know now too, but I know a little bit more. Anyway, I was there. I got in. I started drinking again. And it was like free drinks for the cute girls. I was drinking. Great. And then it was time to leave. And it was 4 a.m. in New York. And I followed some girls that I had made friends with inside the nightclub. And they told me they were going to McDonald's. And I'm like, hell yeah, I would like some McDonald's right now. So I followed them into the subway. I didn't know where I was going. Like, I had no clue what part of the city I was going to. Yeah. And they like, in one of the stops, they were like, yeah, we're leaving here. And I'm like, where are we? Because I forgot about the McDonald's stuff. And they told me that we were in Times Square. And they were going to Times Square for the McDonald's on Times Square. And I was like, I don't want to go to Times Square right now. So I'm going to stay here. And I stayed in the train they were. Of course, I had no internet inside of the subway because in that moment, I'm like, now they left. I have to find out where I am. And I need my GPS. And the internet was not working. So I decided to get out in the next train station to find out where I was and to find out the way back home. Which I did. But just P.S. I was without my shoes. I was like looking drunk. I had already taken like my lashes out, whatever. And I left the train station. I was there. And I opened up my phone and I feel like a guy just like coming closer to me. Which I don't know how I felt that because I was like super duper drunk. But I did, thank God. The intuition, the higher self part of me was taking care of me, or my angels. And I called my friend, my best friend, which was in Dallas back then. And I called her and I was like, I think a guy is following me. So just like be with me on the phone. I need to get home. I'm super drunk. I just need like to make sure there's somebody like that knows where I am and what I'm doing. And yeah, I started to like try to figure it out. The guy starts coming closer and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to leave the station. Bad, very bad decision. In these moments, you should be in a place that there are more people. And I was going to a very, very like quiet street when I was leaving the train station. I start going up the stairs to like get away from this man. And he starts following me. And I'm like, fuck, now I know for sure he's following me. If I was like questioning it, now I fucking know. And I didn't know what to do. People were like looking, but like in big cities, it's so hard to find support. Sometimes people are so like in their minds. And I was drunk also. I don't know. So I like, fuck, no, bad idea to go up the stairs out of the station. Just go back in and try to be close to people. I did that. And thank God there was a train coming my way. I had no clue if it was my train or not. But I just decided that I was going in the train and the guy would stay in the station. I did that. The guy followed me in the train. And I didn't go to like the closest door. I went like I walked like 5 doors to get into like the farthest that I could from him. He followed me all the way there. I don't know what happened to me in that moment, but I really like survival mode. In the minute the alarm went off that the doors were closing, I just jumped off the train and the guy stayed in. So I was safe. I finally could get out of the guy. And if I couldn't, that was going to be really bad because the train station got like empty. It was full empty after the train got, and I was really in danger. So it was good that I jumped. It was good that my angels were with me. It was good that something in my mind saved me from this moment. And that's why I also share all of this. I made the mistake of going out to drink by myself. I made the mistake of not knowing where I was. I made the mistake of like not being able to find my way back home, not being in my most rational self. And I did the mistake again in Italy. I know the Italy story was after the New York story. But again, I've done those, so you don't have to. So if you're going out to drink, just make sure you know how to get home. You're not even too close from home, honestly. You don't drink your balls out, your eyes out, or whatever, your uterus out. Just make sure there's something in you that still can hold up if, they're still a little bit responsible. Are you guys like tired of this story? It was so scary. I don't know. Like it was really scary. I've never told many people about this story because I feel like my mom would freak out if she knew about this story. But it was the closest to danger that I've been in my whole traveling, in my whole life, honestly. And to finish up on a good note, nothing happened to me. In the end, I've learned my lessons. I learned how to make myself be safer, and it's okay that it happened. Traveling and solo traveling is not the wonderland, and it's not gonna be perfect. Things are going to happen, but trust yourself and trust whatever else that you trust. I trust that are people always like protecting me and following me and guiding me. And I don't care what you believe in if you don't believe in anything, but that's something that I do. I just hold my faith in myself and in something else that everything is going to be fine. And it actually does. Apart from these two experiences that I've told you, one of them was bad, the other one was just stupid. Nothing happened ever to me. Like I was never robbed, I was never drugged, nothing ever happened to me. And I've solo traveled a lot. And it's not because I'm lucky. That's what I want you to understand. I'm not lucky. I take care of myself with all of these tips and even more that maybe I couldn't even think about right now. So trust yourself and everything's gonna be okay, And wow, this was it for this podcast episode. I'm super tired of this podcast episode. I think it was like the longest one that I've recorded so far. I'm trying to have a look in the minutes, but I have no clue. If you have enjoyed, if you have come this far, please, please, please let me know. It's really important that we share, I don't want to be talking to a computer. I want to be talking to you, making sure you guys are listening to me and are getting the value that I'm promising you. I'm really doing that, not because of myself, but because I want to inspire you and guide you through this solo traveling and traveling life. So follow me on Instagram. Let me know on Instagram how you've liked it. If you have any questions, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Rate the podcast on Spotify. 10 out of 10, please. I really hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for listening. Besitos.